Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Life in General podcast. My name is Nick.
My name is Ian.
My name is Ian. What's going on, Ian?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing
at all. Has it been nice not to work with me for a while now? For like a week?
No, I really didn't notice a difference.
Oh,
No, seriously, because there'd be periods where we didn't see each other at work.
We would normally see each other.
I mean,
pretty
in
regularly.
Passing sometimes,
Yeah.
but there'd be weeks where we wouldn't work together. I didn't really notice. Plus, this week it's like I picked up OT, so
Ooh,
that was
did?
that was a 3 a.m.
Which is something
shift.
that Ian doesn't really do very often.
I did 12 hours of overtime in the last 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a lot for you.
Yeah, my check's going to be nice. So the last several days I worked, so I did I came in at 3 a.m. in the morning. You wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 days I came in at 11, and you were, because of your new thing, you were already gone anyway.
Yeah.
And some days you wouldn't even be because this is technically our weekend off, and I had to work into our weekend off a little bit. I wouldn't have seen you anyway.
I guess not. So, to I guess to be open about everything, I no longer work with Ian. I'm not we no longer work in the same position.
Right.
I've talked about on the show lots of different times over the last couple of years. I've been in nursing school. I finally started as a nurse. So now I'm just like going through all the bullshit orientation.
Right.
I got to go through 2 weeks of orientation.
Right. And half of it is stuff that you already know because you've already been at the hospital for 5 years.
And then, like, dude, it was weird. Like, the second day, so you have to remember, so we've got this, it's an incredibly big group of new grad nurses. There's 20 of us, which I think is the largest group of new grads the emergency department at our hospital has ever done.
Okay.
So it's a bunch of young kids, because like me and one other guy, we're the only, like, older people in this group. Everyone else is, like, 22 fresh out of college. And I think there is one that's like in her mid-20s. She waited to go back to school. But so we're sitting in this class the second day. The first day, it's always just like the welcome to the emergency department kind of stuff, and it's all that kind of bullshit. The second day was a 12-hour class on how to protect yourself against crazy patients, basically, or aggressive patients. It was an entire 12-hour class.
To me, that seems probably more justifiable than some of the other shit you probably had to do.
But like, it was basically a 12-hour self-defense class.
Really?
Yeah, and like,
did you learn karate?
These kids were like freaked out about this. They're like, "Oh my god!" They're like, the one girl asked me, she's like, "Are we gonna get attacked all the time?" And I said, "Well, unfortunately, it does happen. I mean, it doesn't happen like super frequently." Yeah, so we go through this big long class, and the one girl was like, "How often does this happen?" 'Cause she was like freaked out by it.
It happens enough.
And I was like, I mean, it's not super frequent.
Yeah, it's not going to happen every day, or
No.
maybe even you might not happen for like months, but then you'll get a spurt of it.
Yeah, we had that like 3-week stretch where like 3 or 4 employees got assaulted by patients.
Right.
So it happens.
It does happen. Yep.
And a lot of it was, and there was like hand to hand, like they taught everyone how to like break out of like chokeholds and things like that. Like it was like, some of it was like,
I was saying you learned karate.
yeah. But like there was one part where they were like,
or was it unagi?
unagi. If you are a
Friends fan.
Friends fan. But yeah, so at one point the trainer was like, "Look, if you've had any like past traumas or anything like that in your life, you're exempt from doing this if it's going to trigger you." It was like that kind of, like, we had to choke each other basically and like break out of it and things like that. And it was interesting. I mean, obviously, hopefully I'll never have to fucking use any of it, but
Right.
some of those girls, I don't know what.
Well, you have the benefit of being a big guy, so you're kind of intimidating. So you can probably wouldn't have to deal with it quite as often because people might not try to push you as much.
No, that's funny you mentioned that, because there was one day when I was in nursing school, it was one of my clinicals. I don't even remember what semester it was or what class it was, but so when you go in the morning when you're working at the hospital and you get like your assignment from your clinical instructor, and the first words on my clinical instructor's mouth were, "I'm really sorry, but this patient is the only one we have to give to you, and they've been super aggressive all night long." I was like, "Oh, great." So it was a guy, I think he was like a heroin addict or something like that. He'd been detoxing, like he hadn't like used in a while, but it was like he was going through like the end of detox and things like that. So, but the guy was like a fucking peach to me all day long, like super nice, never had any issues. But I heard he like after we left that night he had some issues though. So I don't know. I was like, maybe he didn't want to fuck with me.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, it's not that nurses are rude or can be rude. I mean, they can be, because sometimes you're pushed to the limit and your nerves, and you just, there's only so much people can take. And sometimes it's hard to hide that. And it can come off as rude or aggressive in their direction. And because they're in a weakened state or in a vulnerable state, they can lash out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to try to look at it from their perspective sometimes, because it's not always their fault.
Yeah. And you're not trying to justify what they do. It's just like an understanding of how it transpires,
Exactly.
or how you get to that point. But
well, I mean, mental illness is definitely a part of it, and addiction. I mean, we see all the stuff that can lead to it.
Yeah.
The problem is that you get to the point where you become apathetic to it.
Yeah.
Because you see people who have been offered help and offered all the stuff that could get them out of it, and they still choose not to.
Yeah. But sometimes it's a hard thing to help yourself.
Yeah, it is.
To want to get that. A lot of times when you're in those situations and you've been an addict for a long time, it's hard to see yourself as worthy enough to deserve help.
Right.
So, it's hard, but we've had mental health issues in this country for a long time, and nothing's
No, in fact, it's gotten worse, because now they've closed down all the hospitals.
Oh, yeah, all the psychiatric hospitals.
Yeah. So, I mean, most of these people don't get the help they need. No. There's nowhere for them to go to get help. The few places that they can go to get help are over. There's too many people and not enough people to help them.
Yeah. So we have a psychiatric emergency department at the hospital we work at, but it's a really small, very small department. They only have 3 secure core rooms that they can put like aggressive or homicidal or suicidal patients into. There was 2 people within the last couple of weeks that I saw over there that had been in there for like 300 hours. Like, I don't remember what it was, like 14 freaking days.
Because there just wasn't anywhere to send them to.
Because there just wasn't anywhere to send them, and they were trying to admit both of them, but there were just no, there's no hospitals or places that could take them. They're all full,
right?
Or whatever is out there, any kind of treatment facility.
Yeah, I just don't understand why. Like you said, we've had mental health issues in this country. What the reasoning is for closing down as many hospitals as they have.
Well,
now don't get me wrong.
It's all funding, because funding. It's easy to take that money,
right? But I mean, yeah, you know what? I guess the conspiracy theorist in me too. I mean, the people who are more likely to cut those programs are going to be Republicans, and then they can use the crime rate rise as a political
justification for the things that they do politically. Yeah, I see that. But if you're a state that has to have a balanced budget, and you're millions of dollars over, it is things like that end up getting cut,
right?
To make it to balance everything.
Oh, I can find one super easy thing to cut that would solve a lot of the problems. Politicians pay.
Well,
because they all make too much fucking money for what they do.
Well, I will say their base pay isn't like,
even their base pay is too high. I don't see why they should be making anything more than the middle of the road of what their constituents make.
I'll put it this way: like, I'm fine with them making. I think they make like $140,000 a year or something like that.
Too much,
but I want to know, like, how much travel do they pay for?
Right.
Because a lot of them, especially ones that work in, like, Washington, the ones that make more money, obviously your state and local, politicians don't make even half of that. If you're working in Washington, and I really don't know what their pay is. I want to say it's like it's in the mid 100s, I want to say.
Right.
But if they've got to fly back and forth from their home state to Washington, there's a lot of, like, travel arrangements. all right, and I don't know this question. How much of that do they pay for? You know, do their and I don't know. I'm sure. So I know they get a budget every year, but I don't know if like travel is involved in that because that would be kind of pricey. I don't know. It's just I'm fine with them making more than like the average Joe. I don't think they should be making more than or well over $100,000 a year though. But
Right. And it should be illegal for them to get
to give themselves raises.
well, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. It should go to a popular vote. But lobbyists, gifts, campaign financing, they shouldn't. It's all that shit is a mess. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
'cause that's where a lot of them make their money from.
Oh, well, I guess I was wrong. Okay, so I guess I was close. If you're a regular House or Senate member, you make $174,000 a year, which is a lot.
Yeah.
If you're a House majority or minority leader, you're at $193,400. If you're Speaker of the House, you make $223,500. Vice President makes $230,700.
Mm-hmm. And the president makes $400.
Yeah. But so yeah, I mean that is a lot, and yeah, you could definitely shave some of that, but you're not going to save a lot of money off of that. And like I said, I'm talking.
No, I said that was a start.
Yeah, and if you're a state, I want to say state legislators. I don't even know if they make more than like 60 or 70 grand a year.
Right.
I guess I could look that up while I'm talking. But
Well, and to me, that's actually more reasonable. That's kind of what I was thinking and I would think that even for the federal level. When someone's voting for you and they're voting for you to represent them, but they're making like $20,000 a year and you're making $180,000 a year, it just doesn't seem right to me.
oh, okay. So if this is right, let me look at this real quick. 2020 legislator compensation. If you're in Alabama, you make $50,000 a year.
Okay.
Alaska makes $50,000. Arizona makes $24,000 a year. So where's Michigan at? Let's see. California make $114,000 a year. So that's about minimum wage.
Which
in
is
California.
funny. Yeah, right. Well, because things like that push the wages up or push the cost of living up.
Yeah. So like to own, I saw something recently that was talking about like average home prices and what you had to make per year to afford your average home price.
Right.
And in Michigan, it was like 45 or 50,000, or maybe 53,000, something like that a year. And in California, it was like 120,000 a year,
Right.
which is crazy.
Well, and that's for home pricing. That does not include a family.
Damn, I was pretty fucking close.
60,000.
In Michigan, it's 70,000.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Mississippi, you're only making 23 grand a year. Nebraska, yeah, no wonder, man, 12 grand a year. As a fucking state
Those are
legislator.
red states. I mean,
This is weird. Nevada, they have a. Well, New Hampshire, this is $100 a year. That can't be right.
no.
In Nevada, it's $164 a day, up to 60 days.
That's
weird.
only what? That's not even $60,000.
No.
That's like six grand.
Yeah, it's pretty damn cheap.
Well,
so anyway,
some states only have like
part-time. Yeah, you're part-time, yeah.
So-
I'm sure that's what a lot of those cheaper ones are. So, like, if you're in the state of Michigan if you're going to cut wages for your congressmen or congresspeople, I guess now, to be all PC, you're not going to save a lot of money, I don't think.
no. But if you were to shave that down to 50,000 for straight across the board, that would shave 20,000 to
Yeah, but that's
per
kinda,
person. I mean, that's not
that's
a big amount of money, but it's a chunk.
I think if you're a full-time,
And that's just the beginning. I mean, there's plenty of other areas you can cut.
if
from.
you're a full-time state legislator, I think 65 to 70 is an appropriate pay.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that because, I mean, that's not much more than what I make.
Yeah.
And if I was way more aggressive with my overtime, I could make that.
Oh yeah, you could.
I don't want to.
But there are a couple of things I want to talk about before we get to our topic, like always. So I've been doing this thing lately where on the episodes, I've been talking about things that irritate me in social media.
Okay.
And we've talked about the crazy, I shouldn't say crazy,
It is. A lot of it's crazy.
the town that I live in.
Okay. Yep.
It is a more rural kind of area.
Yes.
More conservative kind of area.
A lot more conservative. if the political signs I've seen on the way here were any indication.
So our school, just like every other school that I know of, all schools have like a rock, right? Like a rock out in front of the school that kids paint and do things with, celebrate whatever. So we've had this, there was a new teacher in our school within the last, I think this is our first year in our school district. And she started this diversity club.
Okay.
I'm sure you probably already know.
Well, I saw pictures because I know the kids got involved with it.
So here,
I saw the pictures, but I don't know of any of the controversy.
Let me go through like the whole process, and then we'll get to the controversy.
Okay.
So this diversity club, my youngest son Sean has been in it since like the beginning of the year, or shortly after the year started. Basically, all they do is it's a bunch of kids that go and like hang out together after school. There's no like planned agenda to any of it. They just kind of hang out and play games and do whatever. It's just like after school club basically.
Right.
They meet for like an hour. So the last couple of months they've taken an activity. I know like last month was Autism Awareness Month. Okay. So for autism awareness, they made like posters and hung autism awareness posters around the school.
Yeah. My
son is in middle school. Remember this.
Yeah.
These are all like middle schoolers. So like 7th, 8th grade.
Right.
So June is Pride Month. So for Pride Month, they painted the rock in front of the middle school. And I forgot what it was. It wasn't like, I think it said Pride and it had some
a little bit of rainbow
colors
to
it. It wasn't like super.
I think they did a little trans part of it too. Like it was which is the pink and like
it was the it didn't say trans. But
it was the trans colors.
The trans colors, yes. It was up for like, I want to say less than a day before someone dumped paint over top of it.
I didn't hear about this. So.
Oh, you didn't hear about this?
Like I said, I saw the pictures because Mandy posted pictures of what they did, and it was. I didn't see anything past that. I just thought, oh, okay, that was nice.
Yeah, so it got painted over really quickly with like red, white, and blue colors, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So we've got this in our town. There is a parents group on Facebook for the school district. And people were posting there, and there was a post in there about what had happened. They posted a picture of what the rock looked like, and they were like, it was like 6 hours later, and this thing was painted over. And there was a lot of people obviously upset about it. They were like, look, it's, they were doing this for Pride Month, whatever, and like everyone kept going. I shouldn't say everyone. There was a lot of people in this group that kept talking about, well, the school shouldn't be sexualizing children.
That's not what that is.
That's not what it is. Like, part of this diversity club is being, not only, it's not about like, yes, the gay month is about homosexuality and that kind of pride.
But it's not about the sex part. It's about the people part.
Yes, and that's exactly it. But that's also part of this diversity group is about being prideful in yourself.
Right.
And building self-esteem and things like that. Mm-hmm. Which all kind of play into the pride theme for June.
Fair enough, yeah. I see it.
But there was like comment after comment after comment
about grooming
and all that stuff. Yes. And the first comment was like, well, are you sure it didn't get rain? It rained then. Are you sure it just didn't get washed off? Like, washed off in what? Like,
white,
red, white, and blue. So they like painted it white and then put red and blue on it. Yeah. So this turned into like this big whole like controversy, and like I was going back and forth with people on this fucking group,
right,
for like a day and a half. It just the most bizarre. It was like I was living in a fucking bizarro world.
Well, the sad thing is that mentality is starting to become mainstream again.
Yeah.
That people are actually like not necessarily politicians, but prominent people in the news. And local politicians are because the door was wide open for saying whatever you want in terms of the crazier the better. Trump started that. But people are actually calling for the murder of homosexuals again. In public. I mean, I never thought I'd hear this shit again. We used to hear stuff like this even on a much smaller level, but in the 90s. This was like 90s propaganda. And I thought that was all gone.
So I'll show you the picture. This is obviously, if you're listening to this, you can't really see.
Well, I saw the picture of the work the kids did, but I didn't see
so it just says, The
vandalism.
Rock just says, "We are proud."
Uh-huh.
And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got like 5 stick figures, and their heads are colored with the different colored flags for
Okay.
the
LGBTQ,
trans flag,
yeah.
the gay flag, the lesbian flag, things like that. And then it has like a bunch of other colors like splashed around it. Okay. And then that's what they did to The Rock. I mean,
It's obviously vandalized.
it's obviously vandalized. And let me see. There's 88 comments in this thread, and it was just like I said, it was just people trying to make it into something that it's not.
Right.
They want to.
Well, it's because that's what the media is doing. That's what these people I'm talking about are doing. They're not talking about, they're barely talking about homosexuality as an abomination as they usually do. A lot of them still are, but they're talking about it from the perspective of, but they're grooming our children to be gay.
Yes.
Because reading a book with a gay character will turn your kid gay. Because Disney.
They're not turning your kids smart. So.
Right? Yeah, no. Because Disney has gay characters in there, and they're pushing a gay agenda. All your kids are going to be gay if they watch Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, we all grew up on Disney shit. It doesn't matter. You are what you are. Period.
I was trying to scroll through here and try to find the fucking comments I was commenting on, because
A lot of them might have gotten deleted.
I'm sure they probably did. Yeah, it looks like a lot of them probably got deleted, because there were a lot more. It says there are 88 comments, but as I scroll through here, there's not 88 comments in this thread.
Right.
So it looks like a lot of them must have got deleted. And I know that someone had posted a day or two after the fact that like Facebook had flagged some things in the thread. So Facebook probably deleted some of it. All right, so they did this all, and it got painted over. So the Diversity Club, a couple of days later, were like, okay, we're going to repaint The Rock.
Right.
So they did this really cool design on it. They painted it black and made it look like space. So they have like stars and planets and stuff on there. And it just has a rainbow in the middle of it. 2 hours it lasted until it got painted over again. 2 hours.
See, the thing is these assholes, this is the work of children. Children are doing this for themselves. It has nothing to do with these assholes. But it's like a little kid coming up to you with a picture that they put all their work into and you go, hey, look at my picture, and you ripping it up.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that fucking sucks, dipshit.
Right.
So I once again, you can't see the pictures, but yeah, you can see. I mean,
okay, that's the one I saw on Facebook that Mandy posted.
Yeah. So and then, that's what they did to The Rock. They just dumped blue paint on it.
What is wrong with?
But this time, they actually got caught doing it.
Good.
But nothing happened.
Of course not. Yeah, I mean, but at least people know.
It was a high schooler that did it. And
well, that's because just like the cigarette companies, you got to get them when they're young. You got to get those racists young, those bigots. You got to get them when they're young.
But the thing that fucking gets me is after the first time it happened, the principal of my son's school went around to the classroom, because obviously people were upset in the school that their work was vandalized. And he went around all the classrooms and like made an excuse for why it happened. Well, they were given permission. Someone else was given permission to also paint The Rock, and which is bullshit.
That wasn't painted. That was just splattered.
I know that, and it was obviously done intentionally. And I've never, ever since my kids have been in this school, I've had an issue with this principal. He's always seemed like a fucking douchebag to me.
Yeah, well, that to me, just right there, that's the douchiest thing you could do.
Yeah,
making excuses for the vandals.
Yes,
that's what an authority figure should be doing
to children. Yes. So yeah, they went out there, they painted this all again, so it got painted over again. The same thing happened. There's big like social media fight over it. This time, someone actually contacted the news about it. We don't have a news agency in our area.
You don't have a local paper?
No. The closest thing to us is
the Facebook groups, probably.
Well, no, the closest thing to us is Toledo. So they contacted the Toledo news about it, and I guess there was an article from the news down there, Channel 13 or whatever it was, did something about it. And the news down there posted it also on their social media. And of course, Toledo is a bigger town, so there's all sorts of, once again, crazy bullshit. I couldn't even I started reading some of these comments, and I was like, I can't fucking do it.
Right. Is Toledo bad like that? I would think because it's kind
It's
of
Ohio, so I wouldn't.
That's true. That is
you
true.
know,
But I mean, you think because it's a slightly more metropolitan area, maybe the outskirts of Toledo.
yeah.
But,
well, there was enough. There was
downtown
enough.
of
There
it.
was enough of it in that post that made me like. And normally I can like read through comments. This time I was like, I'm not gonna fucking do it.
Right.
It's just gonna piss me off. Whatever. It would just. It's sad to see that kind of shit go on in fucking 2022.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's like some of the rhetoric I've been seeing coming out of all of it. I mean, churches, politics. It's pretty bad. I mean, this one church. I mean, you probably heard him because he's like the worst of the worst in terms of like fundamentalist Christians. Greg Locke, have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said in a sermon that homosexuals should be lined up and shot in the back of the head.
Did you see the one church that lost their tax exempt status?
No, that actually happens.
That actually happened.
It doesn't happen very often
Yes,
because Greg Locke has challenged it several times, and he still has his tax exempt status.
You ain't got to yell into the microphone.
Sorry.
No, they did. Yeah, they lost their tax exempt status because they were turned in.
Good.
There was something else that kind of along the same lines I wanted to bring up. Have you seen the movie Turning Red, or do you know anything about it?
Is that Disney movie?
Yes.
Okay, I'm familiar with it a little bit. I get the impression, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't seen it. It doesn't look like it's my kind of a movie, but it's kind of geared for young women, young ladies.
This
and
movie,
it's about puberty, correct?
Kind of, yes,
but in a subtle way.
It's like a cartoon
metaphor.
Well, it's like a cartoon Disney version of Teen Wolf, kind of.
Okay,
but it's like
which was also kind of about puberty. And
yes,
had underlying themes and metaphor.
So I found this big long post someone put on there with like this laundry list of shit that they've got wrong with this movie. I'm gonna read through some of it. So
okay,
just be mindful of that. Hold on. It says, "Parents beware. I don't usually do this because of the straight up ruthless and vicious hatred I've been getting below." So
she has done it.
She has done it before.
Yeah, but I know it's a she. It's always
yeah.
a she.
Yeah, but here we go. Just a heads up to all the parents out there: the Disney movie Turning Red is not for kids at all, especially not for families trying to keep their children close to Jesus. Which I'm gonna say this: like, I'm a religious person, and this is fucking bullshit. Yeah. Yes, I know Disney movies don't instill Christian values. And I don't look to them to do so. But typically, there are important and valuable life lessons being taught, which generally there is.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I go that far, but there's lessons to be found.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say important ones, but there's lessons to be found.
Well, I mean, to like kindness and like things like
for
that.
Sure,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
You will find the complete opposite in this movie. Sad day, Disney. It has the potential to be so cute. Parents beware. Just a few things that stood out. Some of these are fucking comical. The little girl talks about at age 13, you're your own person, an adult. You can do what you want, say what you want, etc. That's not really what happens. It's more so like she does say things like that, but it's like, and then these are the consequences that happen when you don't do what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So they kind of missed that whole part of it. Another one is her and her three friends talk so poorly about their parents and come up with a plan to sneak out, God forbid, and go to a boy band concert, which they end up doing.
Oh my God!
Not a boy band.
Oh no! Satan is gonna get them.
Oh my God! The girls sneak out. To a co-ed party as well to quote unquote give boys rides as a panda to raise money for the concert. One girl says her parents won't let her go because the band sounds like stripper music. Like, I'm going to tell you right now.
Isn't that what she's implying too? That these girls are stripping?
I think it's more so that they're just going to a party. Yeah.
But see, giving rides, that's
sneaking out. Yeah. Well, because I haven't seen the whole movie, but I'm assuming in this part they're like, I think she like turned into the beast and were like giving rides and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, I get that, but I can see why somebody might take the metaphor too far on that, but still, too far is my point.
Stop putting adult ideas onto children,
right?
Which is what she's doing.
It's kind of like they're the ones seeing the naughtiness in it. You
Yes.
start to wonder if it's them, not what they're looking at.
I am almost 43 years old. I have had children for almost going on 18 years.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of children's movies. Like, all fucking kids' movies all have adult themes in them.
That kids generally don't
that
see.
kids don't get, adults do. And they do that so the adults have something to watch and get in the movie also.
Right. But there's also this...
Obviously, they're not talking about, like, sex and things like that. But
there's also an element here, too, that I think is... Because this is not an uncommon thing, these parents are finding all this quote-unquote perverted or negative stuff, but they're finding it all the time. I'm starting to wonder, maybe it's them.
yeah.
Maybe they're projecting.
Oh, absolutely. Here's another one. It says, the girls talk about going to the concert as girls, but leaving as true women after that. Like, because they went to they snuck out and went to a concert.
Right.
Not because they got fucked in the bathroom. I mean, it's not, it's, the next one, you'll get a kick out of this one. Another warning is, the word crap is used.
Oh, my.
The word.
What the fuck is wrong with society today when children are saying the word crap? I am fucking furious.
The horror, the absolute horror. I'm clutching my pearls as we speak.
I don't even have pearls.
My pearl necklace.
Right.
Another one is so much emphasis is put on her friends encouraging her to be the new rebel she has become and embracing it. That she no longer has to be the straight edge or overachiever girl under her parents' wings. But, like, that's the whole thing about this movie is, like, the things that happen in this movie are things that, like, teenage kids do.
Right.
And kind of what the part of, kind of the moral of the story, or part of the moral of the story, is that when you don't do the things you're supposed to do, there are consequences.
Right.
And things happen.
It's the definition of a coming-of-age story.
Yes.
Which we've been enjoying as a society forever.
Yes.
Going back to what? The 50s and 60s with those surf movies.
Well, I was going to say the early 80s with the...
the 80s was the peak of it.
This lady shouldn't watch Pretty in Pink. I mean,
right.
God forbid.
Yeah, or 16 Candles or any of it.
Yeah.
Breakfast Club even.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh,
basically stay away from John Hughes.
Yes. Everyone should. Yeah.
No, John Hughes is a great filmmaker.
I know that. It says, so much rebellion is encouraged. The ritual is super freaky where she is levitated by her chest into the air while surrounded by adults chanting and spirits are called out to her. So that kind of goes back to like the whole backlash against Harry Potter.
Right.
Which was a lot of that if you don't know.
The problem is now is that it's not just promoting witchcraft, it's promoting sexual deviancy and witchcraft and devil worship and it's
this next one I found was really funny too. It says she tells her Tamagotchi, which is one of those little like toys, it's about to meet its daddy and uncles, referring to the band members being her Tamagotchi's daddies. Look, okay, that's something that like children have done forever. Take their fucking toys and like or take their doll and you're gonna go meet your daddy. Like
kids play house.
Yes, there's something innocent to that. Don't turn it into something
right.
Well,
that's
not.
I mean, that's the projecting part that I was talking about. Yeah.
There's a big scene about the girl getting her period and her mom bringing pads to her at school and embarrassing her.
I think I read about that, and that's why I kind of suspected it had a puberty element to it.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like, hey, society.
Women menstruate.
Like
and young girls have to menstruate for the first time at some point.
And it's not something that people should be ashamed or feel.
Well, the sad thing is that there's still countries in this world where women are have to be isolated during that time of the month.
Well,
because they're unclean to be around.
they're crazy.
Well, unclean. Crazy is, but they're considered dirty.
Yeah. So and the list goes on and on and on with all these like. Just absolutely asinine things that they come out in those movies. And this person, like, there's a laundry list of people that are like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Disney is grooming children. All that. And it's like, you people are out of your fucking mind.
Well, if you think that's bad, you should check out The Million Moms. organization,
I can
which is only
imagine.
4,000 women, by the way.
Yeah, wow.
But that's, I mean,
That's because there was the Million Man March, which was a black thing.
Right.
So now there has to be a million something.
yeah, but
others,
I
too.
think there were actually a million men. Wasn't there?
I don't know if there really
it was
or not.
close.
I know, but like ever since then, every other organization has to like co-opt the language. So
Right.
yeah.
But anyway, all this stuff that you're saying, I mean, they go on everything. They rip into everything on the same level, and they find the exact same shit. That's why I was saying I think a lot of it is projection.
Yeah.
So
I just saw that and it's like I got a laugh out of it because it's just dumb. Like
Yeah.
it's like this is the shit that this is the fucking hill you're gonna go die on. Like,
Right.
oh my god,
Turning
red is attacking children.
it doesn't seem like it to me.
Well,
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to watch it, but
they can't talk about periods.
Oh,
Come
my
on.
goodness.
Oh my god, God forbid. Like
crap.
Yeah, crap. They can't say crap.
Oh my god.
Well, I wonder if they said crap in the same scene that they brought the periods, if that lady's head would explode.
Did they? They should actually have said the word gay or lesbian in the movie. That would have made her head explode.
Well, you know that there was the big push for Marvel to take. There's like a 10-second clip. Yeah, have you seen the new Doctor Strange movie?
Not yet. No, I didn't see it in the theater. I'm just going to wait for it to come out on streaming.
So I'm going to spoil just a little part of it, even though
As long as there's a plot, yeah.
doesn't really matter. But the girl in the movie, her parents are she has two mothers, so it's a same-sex relationship.
Right.
And there's part of the movie, like early on-ish in the movie, where there's like a kind of like a flashback scene, and you see the two mothers.
Okay.
Like, people wanted that scene removed from the movie, and there are countries that have refused to play that movie because Disney and Marvel refused to cut it out. Just because
what are they doing?
They're standing next to each other.
Oh my god, women standing next to each other?
The horror. And she refers to them as her mothers. The horror. The horror, I tell you.
You know, it's funny. You know, like I said, in the 90s.
I'm not finding any of this funny.
No, I know, but this is the kind of shit that the LGBT community had to deal with in the 90s and before, obviously. But it was becoming it became big in the 90s because I think most people were waking up to the fact that these were human rights.
Yeah.
And should be treated as human rights. And the blowback from that is what caused it to be a problem in the 90s. Mm-hmm. But that went away for a while. I mean, not to say it went away completely. There was still an underground of it. But for the most part, society had accepted the LGBT community.
Yeah.
So why now are they not anymore? What turned it around? I mean, I almost feel like, you know, it's kind of funny. You know, we were at work, and one of our coworkers, our nurses, was doing the little handing out the little rainbow hearts to put on our badges.
Yeah.
And I was internally shocked, when she said there were people who weren't taking them.
Well, she said there was only two.
Well, I saw two more later in the night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I was like, I was shocked. I was shocked because there weren't more. Actually,
see, and maybe because I didn't realize the problem was getting as bad as it was.
Yeah.
I knew it was bad because of the way things have been politically in this country for the last 5 years, but I didn't quite think it was the Greg Locke bad because I just saw that the other day, and I started thinking about that. It's like, you know, you and I gladly accepted it and put it on our badges, and I see it. I'm happy to have it on there. Yeah. But I'm starting to think
actually good friends with the nurse that was handing them out,
and I'm just starting to think like, this isn't enough.
Yeah.
Like, we need to do more. I really believe that we need to do more, because this is like the definition of the least we can do to support this community.
Putting a sticker on your
that a community that we truly believe has a right to be accepted.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes me want to be more active. I don't even know how to be. But,
start at your local level, man. That's all you can do.
True, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't know why we have to do this in this day and age. I thought this fight was over.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the problem. Maybe we all kind of got complacent.
Yeah.
About it. I don't know, but I truly believe this fight was over already, and here
Well,
we are
but-
fighting it even worse. I think.
Yeah, but and it's going to get worse because the Supreme Court is going to start taking up same-sex marriage.
Absolutely.
Probably next year.
Right. Well, they haven't announced their official decision on.
Oh,
Roe v.
that should be coming here shortly.
I thought it was supposed to be the other day, like the 8th. That's what I heard.
I just heard it was going to be in June. That's all I knew.
Yeah. For some reason I remember the date. Someone's saying June 8th.
But they've already come out and said that's what it's going to be.
I know, but it hasn't been officially put out. So, but you're right. Yeah, the gay marriage and trans rights are going to be next on the chopping block.
When I mentioned getting active, maybe think of this video I saw. I don't remember if it was today or yesterday I saw it, but there was a black woman that was, I don't know if you've seen the video or not, but she was in the state of Texas going around knocking on doors for Greg Abbott's reelection.
Uh-huh.
And there was a Ring camera recorded this interaction, and it went viral, and this lady lost her job. So she goes up and puts the flyer for Greg Abbott. If you don't know Greg Abbott, he's the Republican governor,
the sitting Republican governor,
in Texas. And she goes up, puts the flyer on the door, rings the doorbell, and then takes a
few steps back.
She stands out in the middle of his sidewalk, so she's 10 feet from the door.
Uh-huh.
And the guy opens the door up, and she says something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm just out campaigning for Greg Abbott. Can we count on your vote in the fall?" And the guy was like, "Absolutely not." And she just immediately busts out laughing.
Really?
Yeah, and she's like, "Hey," she said something along the lines of, "Oh, a girl's got to work," or something like that. And she said, "Thanks for your vote and your non-vote," and walked away. And she lost her job over it.
I think he's bad for Texas. I think he's bad for the United States.
Well, he's just a fucking shit person.
Yeah. I wish he could take Ted Cruz with him. And he might. I think, if anything, Ted Cruz has dug himself pretty deep.
Well,
but he's dug himself deep before.
If Greg Abbott gets reelected, I mean, the power grid will probably crash again in Texas, right. and Ted Cruz will just flee to somewhere in Mexico again.
Right.
So.
Well, we can only hope. Next time, don't come back. You are terrible. I mean, I would go as far as to say that Ted Cruz is more of a garbage person than Donald Trump.
Yeah, because I would agree with that, because Donald Trump is who he is.
Right.
Ted Cruz is just a fucking snake.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Donald Trump is just that's
Just
garbage.
him.
It's just him. He's always been that way, and so he always will be. Ted Cruz knows that he is, and does it for a reason. There's I don't know. Ted Cruz needs to go.
Yeah, I knew Donald Trump was kind of a garbage kind of individual when, I think it was back in the late 90s, maybe it was the early 2000s. He had a pretty big public feud with Rosie O'Donnell.
I remember that.
And Donald Trump used to always call her Rosie O'Fat, is what he always called her, which is such a great thing to do.
Yeah, it's
quality. That's quality. That's quality personality.
Right.
There.
Exactly. I was going to say that's bottom of the barrel kind of discourse.
Yeah. Speaking of Donald Trump, did you see what Fox News did this week?
No.
So
I've been keeping up a bit with what Tucker Carlson's been saying, and
that's kind of where I'm going.
Okay,
so
I might have missed that one then.
So they had the January 6th commission had their public primetime hearing
opening.
Right?
Yeah, it's all going to be public now. It's all going to be on TV now.
Yeah. So when they were having the big first part of it, when the committee was going over everything, Fox News went commercial free with Tucker Carlson outside of his normal time slot.
Okay.
So they moved him to, I think it was 8 p.m.
Right.
And
that's when it started.
And let him go commercial free because they didn't want their viewers to switch over and see anything in the fucking hearing. They went commercial free for over an hour.
Oh, so he wasn't covering the hearing commercial free. He was just
he was just having his show.
Commercial
free for, I think it was an hour and a half, whatever it was they had him on. But yeah, commercial free so no one would switch over and actually watch the hearing. No, we're not trying to hide anything.
Right.
It was interesting. I don't know if you've seen any of it, but Liz Cheney got up there and named names of sitting congressmen that were.
I saw a chunk of it because I had to work, so I worked the night before, so I got up and it was just starting, and I watched a bit of it, but I had to get ready for work to go into work that night.
Yeah.
Too, so
Yeah, she was naming some names of congressmen that had contacted the White House before anything even started. Like
about the pardons.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I did see
So
that.
I was
yeah.
like, even though I don't like Liz Cheney, good for her.
Yeah, no, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those people who's like, well, she's doing the right thing, so she's a good person now. She's not. She's still a Cheney.
Yeah.
Her voting record still stands for itself.
Her
But
dad is still Darth Vader.
Right.
I mean,
Princess Leia's dad was Darth Vader,
Well,
and
I
she
know.
was cool. Liz Cheney is no Princess Leia. I'm just saying.
she's Princess Leia had she been raised by Darth Vader.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah. Because Princess Leia, if it wasn't for the Organas, wouldn't have been the person that she was.
Yeah, Organas.
That's what I said.
It sounded like you said Oganas.
No.
But anyway, yeah, maybe. However, yeah, my point is that Liz Cheney's...
I get you sidetracked.
Yeah, Liz Cheney's voting record does still speak for itself, so I'm only going to give her the credit that is deserved on this particular issue.
She is somebody that still votes with her party 95% of the time. Right. Granted, the rest of her party votes with everyone 99% of the time. So.
True. I mean, I'm not saying that she hasn't done some good, but ultimately she still voted with Trump a lot of times.
I believe she also voted to the House was trying to pass those gun rights measures. She voted against all that and stuff too. So she is still a Republican.
She's still a Republican, and
even though the Republicans have tried to kick her out, but
on one issue though, on one specific thing.
Yeah,
I feel the same way about George Bush. Donald Trump made George Bush look really good.
Yeah,
but he's still George Bush. He still started 2 wars, one of which was completely illegal.
Yeah,
and and still was kind of an illegitimate president when he did it. If you ask me.
Yeah.
So
I would agree with you.
Yeah,
but we never got to our topic.
No, we kind of skirted next week's topic a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to our topic next week, though. So.
Yeah, we'll get to it. We always get to topics eventually.
Eventually.
There's always these episodes where we once in a while we just go down a rabbit hole and never make it out until which is fine.
Sometimes it takes us a couple of weeks to get to our topic, but
it does.
Yeah.
It's made it easier though because we don't have to think of topics think them up too often.
Surprisingly enough, there's been enough shit in the media or social media or the news.
We kind of knew that was going to happen. Even if we try to stay away from politics, it's going to suck us in.
Absolutely. But if any questions or comments, you can email us at Ian. What's our email address? I'm going to tell you real quick. Like I ask you every episode now. I don't even know if I know what it is anymore.
lifeingeneralpod@gmail.com.
We're available on.
So I hope
Facebook
you know it because I only say it. I could be wrong.
No, you're right.
Okay.
Right. And I've got. I read all the stuff in the email and stuff.
Because it's one of those things. It's muscle memory now. It's not. I don't actually remember. It's
lifeingeneralpod@gmail.com. Yes, that's what it is. But I don't know, man. That's all I got. Until next time.
Talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Play my role, let me tell you about it. This shit right here, man, I'm about it. Only real niggas reside around me. Yo, old lady, drop a guard around me. Dip like I know you can, bitch. Show me the ropes like we in the ring. Got you two cobras, you wanna hang. Shoulder to shoulder, the niggas basic. You know I won't lie. You know that I ain't for that fuck shit. You niggas alright, but I'm way better and she love it. Know that y'all sick as fuck. Here go this tissue, bro. We taking the dub, hoping you get you some. This hit like a pick me up. She taking my drugs. Know they see the sign. That's some dollar signs. Know they sick as fuck. Know they sick as fuck. Tell them get well soon. Tell them get well soon. Know you sick as fuck. Get well soon.
Oh shit. Watch out, you the god, Billy. Oh shit. Right now, and I'm smiling in your face, bitch. With a gold smile, you should probably make placement to your eye. Niggas sick as fuck. Standing with niggas who down for that party. Who down for some bitches who showing their bodies. Swear to God, nigga, this Molly got me up and running.